Germany is one of the 4 biggest economies in Europe, and the public transportation systems in German cities are the best that Europe has to offer. As a transportation hub in Western China, Chengdu has 21 million people, which is a quarter of the entire population of Germany. This makes Chengdu a very typical representative of the Chinese public transportation system.
That's right, it's me again, your traffic host Jeremy. Right now I'm in Chengdu, China. The time is 2 o'clock in the afternoon. This is my friend Vicky.
Hi, I'm Vicky. I lived in China for 3 years to study Chinese. Now I live back in Germany and study in the Netherlands. Right now it's 8 a.m.
Between us, there's 6 hours of time difference. But would the urban public transportation system in China and Germany be that different? So these days, Vicky and I have prepared the best video guide on public transportation in China and Germany.
So right now we are in Düsseldorf, where the Chinese company Huawei's headquarters are. Around 640,000 people live here, and it's the 7th biggest city in Germany. So here's the bus station, as you can see over there. So you can buy the ticket either at the bus driver or online before. I don't need to buy a ticket because I have a subscription, and it's 60 euros a month, and I can take all the buses and trains in the designated area. In some buses and trains you will find a ticketing machine. There you can just buy the tickets on the train or bus. A one-way ticket in the A3 level price category costs 3 euros and 10 cents.
Do you think 3.1 euro per ride is too expensive for you?
I still find it a bit expensive, and I personally would rather take the bike and walk by foot if I can. And especially in Germany, you have a relatively bike-friendly country, so we have specific lanes for bikes and in especially bigger cities. So in German buses, if you don't press the button, then the bus won't stop. Especially on the countryside when there are no people, the bus will just drive past. So remember pressing the button. In most parts of Germany, you can board public transportation like buses, subways and trains without a ticket, but there are some inspectors who will check the tickets at random intervals, so they can catch you when you don't have a ticket. So the people will just ask you for their ticket, and if you don't have one, they will have a penalty for you, about 60 euros or so.
60 euro, that is a harsh penalty. In China, to take a bus, it can cost 2 yuan in cash, and you can also use this app on your phone or use your bus card, and the cost is just 1.8 yuan per ride. For senior people above 60 years old, they can even ride the bus for free.
I personally think the prices in China are relatively cheap, especially you can always use your phone to pay and buy it wherever you want. Where in Germany, you always have to use cash, and in the modern places, maybe you can use card.
You can see on the front seats, you can lower the tray table. There's where you can put your cup. Your phone is dying, it's running out of battery. There's a USB plug where you can charge your phone. And here you can adjust the seats until you can sit comfortably.
When it comes to passenger experience, what differences are there in terms of taxis? As the birthplace of Porsche, Bentley, Lamborghini, Maybach, and more, Germany is certainly the definitive country for automobiles.
Now we're gonna go get a taxi. I've made an order on the app before, and we're waiting now for the taxi to get us. Most of the taxis in Germany are from Benz. Currently, Germans mainly use gasoline cars, and it's rare to see new energy vehicles.
In China, most of the taxi model is either Volkswagen or some domestic-made electrical vehicles.
The price of buying them is 20 to 30% cheaper here than it is in China. But still, most people prefer not to take the taxi. We're gonna see why. There's our taxi coming.
Wer nimmt normalerweise so das Taxi? Was sind so ihre Kunden?
Wir haben auch Stammkunden, die gerne mit unserer Zentrale fahren wollen. So wie Sie jetzt zum Beispiel eigene App es ist direkt vor Ort zum Beispiel. Haben Sie gerade über App bestellt, ne?
Ja, genau.
Richtig. Und das ist direkt zu dem Fahrer ermittelt.
Ich glaube, in China ist das genauso. Da gibt es auch solche Apps, da benutzen wir jetzt auch immer. Ja.
If you want to take the taxi in Germany, usually you would call them and they would send a taxi your way. Most of the times you cannot find many taxis just around the streets, so you won't get picked up that easily. But if you call, they usually come pretty quick. So this was our taxi ride. We've been in the car for 2.2 kilometers, which took about 9 minutes, and we spent 10 euros and 20 cents, which is super expensive.
Well, that is too expensive. What if your German citizen really need a car to go somewhere?
Most of the Germans prefer to take their own car and drive themselves. Most of the families have at least one car. And fuel price in Germany is around 13 to 15 yuan per liter, whereas in China it is 8 to 9 yuan, which is, of course, in Germany much more expensive than it is in China, but still it is more effective or cost effective to take the own car than compared to a taxi.
Here comes the taxi. Right, we're inside the taxi now. As you can see, the starting price is 9 yuan. If it goes up to over 2 kilometers, the additional cost is only 1.9 yuan per kilometer. You can also see some of the cars. The blue one means that the car is powered by fuel, and the green one means the car is an electric vehicle. And there are more and more buses, taxis, and private cars in China with green license plates. And
大概1公里就是你看嘛，100公里耗电是这个显示16.2度电，再把10多电，9块钱1公里嘛。
如果是燃油车的话，你看大概1公里会花费多少钱
？7、8毛1公里左右嘛，没得污染噻，没得噪音噻，对的嘛，舒适度好些嘛。
so the distance is about 10 kilometers, and it cost me only like 19 yuan. So if it's 5 kilometers, it's only like 10 yuan, so it's pretty cheap.
The production and sales of new energy vehicles in China have been the first in the world for 8 consecutive years, making it the world's biggest market for new energy vehicles. New energy is the direction of the future in terms of going green and upgrading the global automotive industry. Meanwhile, subways remain the best option when it comes to trying to create a neutral carbon footprint for urban public transportation.
So now we're in a metro station, and like in most of the German public transportation, there's actually no ticket control, so you could board the train without a ticket, but you might be checked. The German subway and bus tickets have the same price, and a regular A3 ticket within the city costs 3.1 euros. If you go to the airport or another city, you would buy an interval ticket for the zones B, C, or D.
The German subway system was first opened in 1902, giving it an impressive 120-year history. Because of this, many people think that Germany's major cities all have a first-rate subway system, when in reality, only Berlin, Hamburg, Munich, and Nuremberg actually have metros.
In other places like Düsseldorf, there are more Stadtbahn systems, which are similar to the light rail or trams, and they have a lower capacity than subways. So now we're in the metro. Actually, in Germany, you're allowed to bring your bike and your pet to the metro as well. And for bikes, you have to pay an extra ticket of €4.70.
Well, you can even bring your own pet onto the subway train. That is so cool. Currently, 49 cities in China have working subways. Chengdu's metro system covers 558 kilometers, making it the 4th longest in the country. With an average daily passenger traffic of almost 5 million, the subway is Chengdu people's favorite transportation method.
Right now we are inside one of the subway stations in Chengdu. In order to buy the ticket, you can either buy one of the tickets at the ticket machine here, or you can use the Tianfutong app in your phone, or even you can even scan your face. The price is different depending on the range of the travel. 2 yuan can cover 4 kilometers, and 10 yuan can cover the distance of 70 kilometers. If it goes up to more than 70 kilometers, it's 1 yuan per additional 20 kilometers. There are over 373 subway stations scattered around the city of Chengdu, so it's a very convenient and cost-efficient means of transportation. So subway station is usually a densely populated area in the city. So before you enter the subway station, you have to go through this fast security check. So you can enter a station like this. You don't need a cash, you don't need a subway card, you don't even need your phone. So it's very convenient. Also, you can see on the edge, on the side of the rail, there's a safety door, which is like a newly added function compared with other old subways in other countries. This is subway line 9 in Chengdu. As you can see, this is a driverless train. There's no driver on the front. So you got this futuristic feeling right now. And the speed is 100 kilometers per hour. And the fastest train in Chengdu is the line 18, which can be up to 140 kilometers per hour.
I really miss the subway in China. It was so much more comfortable.
If I remember correctly, I think our subway started the first line in 2010. That's like 13 years ago. But I think most of in terms of the construction and planning to operation, I think we've learned a lot from some developed countries.
Buses, the subway, and taxi maintain the traffic inside a city, while the country's railway system drives each city's economic development in different ways.
今天是3月11号，我现在要买2个星期后的火车票，从德国的亚琛到荷兰的 Amsterdam。如果我们买明天的票的话，最少70欧2个人。现在我们来买2个星期以后的票，就是40欧2个人。这个40欧的最便宜的票是不可取消的票，这2个可以坐所有的火车，但是更加贵。你现在可以选电子票或者实体票，但是实体票要加6欧运费。如果你要预定座位，你还要加9欧，然后你可以选 PayPal 或者银行卡付款。在德国，大部分人都这么早买票。尽管我们的火车总是晚点。
So I see the price is constantly changing. It's like the price of the airplane, so it's always fluctuating and change a lot.
Yeah, it's not like in China where the high-speed rail fares are always the same and you can leave at any time. So we're at the train station right now, and as you can see, there's no security. So we're in the ICE now. Some of the ICs are pretty old because they were inaugurated in 1991, but you can see the seats are much more comfortable than the RE ones, and the speed can go up to 320 kilometers per hour, so it's much faster and more convenient. There's a plug under the seat as well. On your seat, you also have a cushion for your head, and of course there's also a folding table in front of you. Obviously, there are overhead racks for your luggage. Also, at the end of each carriage, you can find bigger luggage racks. So we arrived at the train station in Amsterdam. So what do you think? First, it took us 4 hours to come here, even though it should only take us 3 hours. But because of the delays and cancellation, it took much longer. Usually, it is this way. So many cancellation, many delays.
The development of the high-speed railway system is connecting people in densely populated cities all over the world. In China, a country with a massive population, the high-speed railway system has developed incredibly quickly. It covers 42,000 kilometers, which accounts for more than 70% of the world's high-speed railway.
This is Chengdu East Railway Station, and it's time for high-speed railway. Right now, I'm gonna catch the train to Chongqing. After you bought the ticket online, you don't actually have to get the ticket. All you have to do is just scan your ID card and enter the station. And as you can see, there will be 81 trains traveling from Chengdu to Chongqing, and there will be about 80 trains coming back to Chengdu. Almost every half an hour, there will be 1 to 3 high-speed trains departing from Chengdu to Chongqing.
Oh wow, it shows really that the floating population between these two cities is really high.
As far as I know, in Chengdu, the population is over 21 million, and I think in Chongqing, there are over 32 million people. There's always constant and frequent economic connection, and there's a lot of cultural exchanges between the two cities. This is the first class seat, and you can see the city is still very large. The price is only 252 yuan. This is the second class seat, which is the most common seat in this train, and the price is only 157 yuan, which is pretty affordable. This is a business seat. If your phone is dying, you can plug in there's a power socket here. You can plug in to recharge your phone, and you've got a Wi-Fi here. You can connect to the internet, and you can watch TV. If you want to get a good rest or read some book, you can adjust the seat. There's different mode here. For example, there's a resting mode or sleeping mode here, and also you can rotate the seats to get a better view of the beautiful scenery outside the window. As you can see, even though the train is running at a speed of 350 kilometers per hour, it's going very quietly and smoothly. The distance between Chengdu to Chongqing is about 353 kilometers. Pretty much takes us exactly 1 hour to travel from Chengdu to Chongqing. From what I see, the price of traveling in Germany and China is so different. Sometimes the price in Germany is over 10 times higher. Why do you think that is the case?
Well, in Germany, actually, the labor cost is really high. It is known as one of the highest in the world. And because of that, most of the aspects of living are pretty expensive here. However, in May from this year, we have a really great reformation in Germany, and the ticket price will be the same for all over Germany. That means you have to pay 49 euros a month, and you can take all the public transportation, except of course for high-speed trains and planes.
For me, if I go travel from home to work, it usually costs me monthly is like 200 yuan. So compared with that, I think traveling in China with public transportation is much cheaper in Germany. But I think the reason for that, I think, is because the population in a big city like Chengdu is so big, and there are all kinds of peoples. They have different income levels. In order to make this giant mega city to function properly, you have to keep the public transportation cost low.
Well, so the costs in China are generally for everything much lower than in Germany, and the general happiness overall is much higher because you can do so much more things and afford so much more things. Like you can go to the restaurants or you can go out and play, which is sometimes really expensive here.
All right, that is all the fun facts Vicky and I have put together on public transit system in our own city. What is the public transportation system like in your city? Any interesting and passenger-friendly feature you want to share with us? Let me know in the comments. This is Jeremy. Bye.